Journaling is a keystone in your self improvement journey. Now, we often talk to our friends, our families. We also keep relationships with our closest friends from way back when, middle school, high school, whatever it is. You still talk to them, you still conversate with them, you still talk to each other about experiences. You know much more about them than you do know yourself. Today, I'll illustrate the reasons how I know this, and then I'll also explain to a solution to this. Now, when was the last time you've asked yourself, what am I doing in life? Genuinely. When was the last time you've asked yourself this question? And me, I'm not here to judge you from a superior standpoint, but this is a question that you have to ask. And if you haven't asked it, why haven't you? Right? If you look at the masses of people, right? Look at the majority of people. Most people, they like to see how they make money by the majority of people. So I'm just going to explain to you. The majority of people follow the plan that society sets out for them. Go to school, go to uni, get a job, live that job, retire when you're old. That's often the rules that they set. However, when you go through your journaling, if you ever have went through your journaling, do you ever ask yourself, "Oh, this is something that I don't want to do, or this is something that I never really had interest in?" Because if you don't, honestly, it's a question mark. And it's not coming from me. It's coming from the many individuals out here that live the life that they want to live simply because they want to live it. It's not necessarily that difficult, right? Most of you have this question in a pair. Again, first of all, before I say this, I'm not recommending you be lazy. I'm just saying work hard for something that is relevant. But that's not the topic. I'll explain this in an upcoming video. But many of you individuals probably have constraints from your parents. Be like, oh man, I wish my son or daughter just went to uni that I can just celebrate them, celebrate their status. And it's all about status. And it was never about you. So you have to understand from, well, the universe, the universal perspective is always embargoed on you, but you always have to understand it from your perspective as well. And in fact, the smartest people intake all perspectives so that it's the best decision made. So you have to understand your perspective, and the lighting is terrible. I can't necessarily see my notes. It's actually terrible. So this helps you journaling as a generalization as a whole will help you understand your thoughts and emotions. So like I'll say in the next video, your thoughts are your these are the reasons why you live. So the reason why you're gonna live the life you're gonna live in the next 3-4 months is because of your thoughts. You think that your situation is terrible, your life is gonna be even more worse. You think that you're never gonna end this never-ending cycle of strain and just strain. I can't necessarily explain it in a different term. Then yes, you're gonna be doing so in exactly the same way, and what you think is what you become, right? I've been reading this book, and I'll show you the book titles right here. It's called Secret. Oftentimes, you'll see many of the celebrities be like, "Oh, I've read this book multiple times. I've studied this book." I will do a part one, part two on this book later down in the series, but the point remains the same. It's simply because of journaling that you cannot live the life you want to live. Now, it's just like, how about working hard, man? How about doing the things that you want to do? How about And I'm telling you, that's working hard is fine. But when working hard remains constant, like look at the millions of people in foreign countries working hard to get into uni. Like when working hard isn't enough, what is there next? Right? When working hard isn't enough, what is the next solution? So it's not just working hard, and I'm sorry to call you shallow, but if you genuinely think about this working hard fallacy, you're genuinely shallow. The people who work hard often lose. The people who work the best often lose. It's just winning and losing does not matter if you work hard. It doesn't even matter about your talent. So that's a blessing. You should understand this in this game, that there are blessings and curses, and that the variety in this game is extremely important, and not only important, but is a blessing. So you have to thank God for the structure of this world, A. But B, you have to understand what you want to do, man. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Whether you're a guy or a gal watching this on any, probably YouTube, you'll most likely just figure out the idea like, oh, I should just start writing. No, no, no. You have to write on specific terms. For example, you have to write on terms such as, if I lost my parents tomorrow, and I know this is very deep, but still, if I lost my parents tomorrow, what would be the most proudest thing that I could do for them? Or what would be the least proudest thing that I can do for them? And then you can understand that from your parents' perspective. So from your perspective, it's like, in the next 10 years, if I only had 10 years left, what would be the most proudest thing I would do for myself? What would be the least proudest thing I would do for myself? And then this whole thing embarks onto a vision and an anti-vision, which I'll inevitably talk about, so don't worry. And these are the most, well, I wouldn't say the most, but these are extremely important topics to understand what success truly is. Because I'm telling you, like, for some people want to be an engineer simply because they didn't have water running proper in their house, or sorry, construction, because they didn't have necessarily a shelter to live in. Some people want to build skyscrapers. Some people want to clean windows, maybe because one of their pets fell out of a window one day. This is how life is, right? So you think about the experiences that you have to build new experiences. This is the outline of creativity. This is the outline of life. This is the outline of life's programming. Now, if you were to ask me personally, this traditional way people are praising to go to school, to go to uni, to get a job, whatever, it's fine for some people, but for me, I just don't want that. I just don't want my time to be restrained in such fashion, where I go to be restrained, where I see people. And comparison is also important in your journaling prompts. And I know it's demonized, but you have to compare. And I'll explain to you why in the next episode. But when I look at people in social media and they're like, they're here, they're there, they're doing this, they're doing that, and I know it's the best. I know you guys are gonna criticize me in the comments, like, yo, what are you saying? Oh, social media is just a fallacy. Maybe so, but are they getting the things that they want done? Probably. Is maybe is that what you want for your life? Maybe. I don't know. For me, I saw most of what I wanted, which is freedom. And because the freedom to do what I wanted to do, and what I want to do is important. Many people don't understand this, and this is why people try to restrain your time and restrain your freedom, because they don't believe that anything inside of you is important. And it's not necessarily about importance at all, because you can have the world's irrelevant position. Like, I've seen like a couple guys preach about gambling and how it's good or whatever. You're still getting views, clicks, likes, social media. You're still getting AdSense, you're still getting promotions, you're still getting whatever. And these are all still flowing for you doing what you like. So this is part of why I started this YouTube channel. But for you, it can be something different. You can probably want to start an agency. Maybe you just want to write. Maybe this is something you want to do. Whatever it is. I'm saying there are several ways of doing it. In this life, people try to say it's one way, one way, one way, especially in this capitalistic sense that, well, first of all, I didn't want to be an NPC at the most. I didn't want to be an NPC. I didn't want to be like one of those like chubby guys just like walking in the classroom, lowest energy. Like, you just look at them, you just despise them. It's like lowest pieces of energy, just walking in, trying to pick themselves up every single step of the way, trying to get energy. The moment a girl talks to them, like, why? And I didn't want to live that life. And people call it selfish. Well, yes, it's a little bit selfish. I can't lie. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would rather live the rest of my life on my own terms, knowing that I regretted something that I chose, rather than regretting something that I didn't choose. Right? So you have to make that decision, and the best way to make that decision is via journaling. I know I strayed a little bit away from journaling, but this is the best. Like, everything you want. Like, I couldn't even tell you what you wanted. Your parents wouldn't even tell you. The best that your parents would know you, they wouldn't tell you. Why? Because they don't understand how you feel every day. They don't understand what you think about every day. They don't understand who you are. So the only person you know that knows you better than, the only entity that knows you better than yourself is God. But without communication from God, it's you. You are the only person that knows you better than you. You are the only person that knows you better than anyone in this world. And you're telling me you're letting them make your decisions? But it's up to you. And again, I'm not here to make you right or anything. I probably am here to make you right, but journaling is extremely helpful. Right? Developing an anti-vision and a vision, which we'll talk about later, and also the secret. Secret. Law of attraction, some people would call it. I don't really like cliche terms. The more you hang around this channel, the more you realize that's just like why. But this is something we'll talk about in depth. But man, journal. Journaling is the most important thing. I can't tell you anything better than you can tell you that than you can tell yourself. And if you don't know yourself, then I can tell you anything, you can accept it. Just now, I just convinced you to journal. Did you tell yourself that? No. But this is the best way for you to talk to yourself, genuinely. So the next time someone enforces something on you, next time someone, pushes their agenda onto you, don't necessarily question it. Question it by yourself, on your own. Understand their intentions, their mischiefs, their malicious intents, and then understand yourself to make the most formalized plan. And we'll also talk about SWOT analysis later on this channel. Appreciate y'all for listening. Yo, algorithm.